I have been working in React.js and making applications in React.js for a long time, so for almost 5 years now, and I love React.js. But there are some negative points of React.js which we don't usually discuss. So I tried a new web development framework in one of my new projects, and I found it very useful. So React.js have this negative point which we never discussed, and I'm gonna discuss that negative point in deep in this video, and also I'm gonna tell you how this new framework is helping us to move away from this negative point. And this is actually very big point in terms of performance of a web development application. So is this new framework is going to replace React.js? We are going to discuss this in detail in this video, so keep watching till the end, and also add the comment what do you think about this new web development framework. Hey everyone, this is Kamran and I'm a full stack web developer, and I make videos on different web development technologies and coding related videos. So if you are new here, so I would suggest you to hit the subscribe button so that you never miss any new important videos. So now let's talk about a little bit about React.js. So React.js is a web development framework which use virtual DOMs to create the DOM tree structure of a web development web page, and it is very much popular because of its virtual DOM concept. So whenever there is an update in any of this leaf of this virtual DOM tree, then it updates that leaf only. But there is a catch. So if you update any of the DOMs of this whole virtual DOM tree, then all the DOMs under that DOM will also be re-rendered, and this increases the CPU utilization and memory utilization of that application. So in one of the recent applications, I used a new web development framework named as solid.js, and I really loved it. Once I read the documentations and I started using it in an application, I found out that this re-rendering issue is not there in the solid.js. So basically solid.js doesn't have this concept of virtual DOM, and internally it only updates only the part of the application which is updated by the user. And that is why this decrease the whole re-render issue and make the whole application very performant. The developers of solid.js are very smart. So what they did, they built the whole framework taking the inspiration from the React.js itself, because they know that a lot of people are using React.js right now. They made the whole process of how you can install this solid.js and how can you use it in the application, which is very much similar to React.js. So you will not feel new to this framework, and you will feel that something you are been using. Apart from how the folder structure and the application or the component structure look like, the internal and the way working of these solid.js components are a bit different from the React.js. So you have to put a lot of effort to learn this in solid.js. But till now, I found the solid.js very useful and very performant in comparison to React.js. So before getting into the coding and showing you the main difference between the React.js and solid.js, I'm gonna talk about will solid.js be able to replace this React.js soon or not. And I'm talking about why solid.js will not be able to replace React.js, and at least not soon. The first factor is that React.js have a deep root in the industry right now. So many big companies already building and already have their applications in React.js, and these companies are already having a good output out of the React. So they will not be very much happy to replace React.js with any other frameworks. Second thing is the community. So React.js is already in the market for a long time, and it has a big community which is working continuously in progress for the React.js, and also it has a community which help each other in the domain. So solid.js will take a lot of time to build that kind of community, but I'm not sure how much time will it take. This totally depends on how the industry or the developers adapt solid.js in their day-to-day development cycle. And now to demonstrate the difference between solid.js and React.js, I've created two basics projects in both the frameworks. On the right side of the screen, you can see we have this React.js app in which we have a very basic application, and similar application I have developed in the solid.js as well. So we are going to run these applications, and we are going to see what is the main difference between how these framework runs. Now first let's see the structure of the code, or see the structure of the application. So both the application have the exact same structure, and both the application do the same basic counter application. So I'm going to just go through one of the applications. So here we have app, and in the app I have created this counter2, and also I have a list. So list is nothing, just a basic component which I'm using to show how child component are rendered in React
compared to solid, and how solid is better than react. So here in this main app I have created two different components, counter and list. List is a basic, as I told, and the counter is a component in which I'm created a variable counter and increasing at an interval of 2 seconds, and I'm passing this counter variable in this. And also here you can see that I have added this console in the main React app which says render React app, and similarly in both the components I have added render counter components and list components, so that whenever these components will re-render you will get to know about this by this console. And in this solid app also I have created the same kind of, and if you see the code now you will see that how similar it is with respect to a React.js application. So in this also I have created counter and counter and list. So here we will move this list down because we are showing the list down in the React app as well. So we are not going to get into the details of the code. I'm just going to show you how the code or the application runs in the solid.js. So here also I have added this solid render solid app, and in the components also I have added both, like this counter display add and list for list app. And now I'm going to run both the applications and we'll see what is the main difference between those. So running both React and solid.js is pretty simple. So both we just have to use npm start with their basic application, and that will start running on port. First I started solid.js which ran at 3000, so that's why React is starting at and some other port. So this is our React.js application in which the counter is increasing every 2 seconds. So if I open the console, so here you can see that on every update we have React counter a component update, list component update. Let me refresh and that will give you a better idea. So this means that whenever we have an increment in the counter, so this not only the counter component is re-rendering, the main app component is also re-rendering, as well as the list component is also re-rendering. So now let's see what is the case in the solid.js application. So we have solid.js over here. So let me open the console and do a refresh over here. So here you can see even the counter display component is updating. Neither of three app components is re-rendering, only the part of the counter display is updating. So this is why the solid framework is very much powerful than the React.js. But as I discussed, that React.js is not going to be killed by solid.js, at least not for now. So if you want a different video on how to build applications in solid.js, then you can comment down in the comment so that I can take up the solid.js tutorial in next tutorial series.
Hope this video helped you to understand this new awesome framework, and I would suggest you to try out this solid.js and comment out how do you feel about this framework. Happy coding everyone, see you in the next video.